The Radio Memories Network is brought to you in part by Liberated Syndication. Podcast publishing made easy. Libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN.com.
Worried about the United Nations? Anxious about those bills piling up? Want to get away from it all?
CBS offers you Escape.
You are the victim of a native witch doctor, pursued from the west coast of Africa to the west end of London by the grinning face of a dead man. You are under the curse of a Porrah Man.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson and carefully plotted to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to the dark lowlands of West Africa and the mind of a man who scoffed at native magic, as H.G. Wells paints it in his gripping story, Pollock and the Porrah Man.
I had spent considerable time in Africa, but I have given little credence to the many superstitions of the natives there. Voodoo curses, weird incantations of witch doctors, and the like had always seemed a pretty silly business to me. But that was before the affair of Pollock and the Porrah Man. Even then, while the thing was happening, I took little notice. It was only when I got back to England some months later and went to see Pollock climbing up the 3 flights of stairs to his lonely bedroom that I began to realize the ghastly truth of it. One look at him was enough. I had never before seen a man so unnaturally wasted, so prematurely aged and broken, so eerily mad as this man lying on the bed and looking up at me with haggard eyes.
It was good of you to come, Waterhouse.
Nonsense, old chap. I just thought I'd look you up and say hello. But I had no idea I would find you ill.
Ill? Yes, I suppose I am ill. I suppose that's what you'd call it.
But what in heaven's name is the matter, Pollock?
I say, come closer, will you? I can barely see you.
Why, yes, of course. I'll just drop a chair.
Oh, no.
Pollock, man, what's the matter?
Oh, no. Take it away. Take it away.
What are you talking about? What is it, man?
That thing in your hand. Take it away, please, for heaven's sake. Take it away.
In my hand? But Pollock, this is only my hat.
Your hat?
Why, yes, of course. Just an ordinary black Homburg. Now, if its style is offensive to you...
No, I just put it on the table, the floor. Somewhere where I can't see it, please.
Well, of course, old man.
Yes, I suppose you think I'm mad.
Now, don't be.
I know you do. Everybody does. Because I'm used to it now. And the worst of it is, perhaps I am.
I say, Pollock.
Only I don't think so. Because I do see it. I don't care if no one else does. I can see it.
See what?
The head. That hideous face following me everywhere, grinning at me. And always upside down.
Pollock, what are you talking about?
You don't believe me either. Well, look at my wrist. It's broken. The bandage is still on it. That's real enough, isn't it?
Well, yes, of course. Broken, you say?
Yes. It did that. And my other accident, when I first got back to England, they said I walked in front of a bus, but I know better. It did that, too.
A head?
Exactly. You wouldn't expect to see a man's head come rolling down the middle of a busy street in London, now, would you?
No, Pollock, you'd better lie back. Rest a bit. I'll call a doctor.
Oh, you too. And I thought you might understand. After all, you were with me when it started. It was you who first warned me, who sent me home.
You don't mean that business with the Porrah Man?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. You remember how it started? We were camped at that little village on the lagoon behind the Turner Peninsula. It was swampy and hot, and I was bored to tears. Maybe that's why I did it. But anyway, when I got back, you were furious with me.
No, you're a fool, Pollock. You've got to take it back immediately, do you hear?
Oh, what possible difference could it make, Waterhouse? Why all this fuss, old boy? It's only a little wooden statue. Can't be worth anything except for a curio.
You're not that stupid, Pollock. You know very well this is a Porrah idol. You must have stolen it from the hut of a witch doctor.
Well, and what of it?
Don't you see? To them, this is sacred. As sacred as an altar cross to a Christian. You've not only committed a crime in their eyes, but a terrible sacrilege as well.
Oh, don't tell me they're going to sick their painted gods on me. Oh, I should be frightened to death.
Before they can do anything, you're going to take this back where you found it and apologize to the Porrah Man.
Apologize to an illiterate black witch man? Are you crazy?
Pollock, I've had about as much of you as I can stand. You're one of those infernal fools who think a black man isn't a human being. I can't turn my back, but you're running crossways to them, getting into some scrape or other. The third time this month, and this time it's serious.
Are you telling me you're going to send me home?
I honestly think it would be best.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm all for it. I'd be very happy to get out of this sticky, dirty, godforsaken place.
Very well. But before you go, Pollock, for the good of the expedition, you've got to take that thing back and apologize.
Oh, I don't think I'd better.
Why not?
Well, to tell the truth, I don't think they'd give me a chance to apologize.
All right. Tell me, what happened?
Oh, nothing very much, except... Well, as I was carrying the thing away, one of those chaps popped up and saw it. Started yelling, trying to take it from me.
Yes, go on.
Well, we had a bit of a tussle. I got away.
Go on, Pollock.
We were on the bank of the river, and I toppled him over, that's all.
He fell into the river.
Yes, I think he may have hit the rocks first.
Was he badly hurt?
I don't know. I didn't stop to find out.
He was dead, wasn't he?
I really don't know.
Oh, you fool.
Oh, it was an accident. I had no
An
intention.
accident, a lot they care. It was bad enough with the idol, but you've probably killed a man. We're in for it now.
Well, there's nothing to be frightened about.
Nothing. In the first place, I should think even your conscience would suffer a little. The second, you don't seem to understand about this Porrah business. It rules the country. It's the law, religion, medicine, everything. And these Porrah are the most vindictive men on earth. The one whose idol you stole and whose follower you killed will be duty-bound to do something about it. And there's no telling what he will do.
Oh, come now. You don't believe in these voodoo curses and things?
Of course not. I'm thinking of something much more real than that.
I mean, you might try something rough.
I can only advise you to lie low until we can get you out of here in the morning. I'll take you as far as Sulima and see you safe aboard a steamer.
You needn't. I can go alone from here.
Not far. You still don't understand this business. You wouldn't get a quarter of a mile from this camp alone.
I still thought you were making a mountain out of a molehill, Waterhouse. But I must admit, I didn't sleep much that night. I lay there on the mat in my hut and listened to the sounds of the village. And then later to the noises of the night-wakening jungle. Sometime after midnight, I must have dozed off because I awoke with a start. For a moment, I was confused, but I sensed something wrong. And then, framed against the moonlight square of the door, I saw a hand upraised, and in it, a knife.
Stop! Stop or I'll shoot! Stop, you devil, you! What happened?
I missed the beggar, Waterhouse. I missed
light, a cloud of dust, and the hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger.
A knife. He tried to kill me.
Now, wait a minute. Wait till I find the light. There. You're all right, man.
All right. Just so in time.
This is the legend of a man and a horse, and how they met.
Eh?
The story of the Lone Ranger and his great horse, Silver.
Well, Perhaps now you understand the
The Lone
seriousness of
Ranger
this.
and Tonto were trailing the worst outlaw in the West. His name was Butch Cavendish.
Shut the door for a
They had
second.
followed his trail for many
Was
weeks,
crouched down and
until
he looked
finally
back at
they
me
noticed that
from
the
under his
hoofprints of
arm.
the outlaw's horse were fresh.
This was
We're
just
close to
thrilling.
Cavendish now.
Yes, Tonto. He can't be far ahead.
Him outrun us last time. Maybe better we
I'll never
shoot in
forget
sight.
it.
I'll get you a
I want to
drink.
take him alive.
Listen.
That shot.
Look out.
Steady there, steady, boy.
Over there. Killer in ambush. Him right way.
Tonto, he missed me, but he shot my horse. Get after him.
Come up,
They
fella.
cut in their cheeks.
Tonto's horse was tired and no match in
See
speed
that
for the
in my
animal
dreams.
Cavendish
Steady on,
rode.
man.
The outlaw escaped.
Here you are.
When Tonto returned from the futile chase,
Oh, fella. Oh,
he
there.
found the Lone Ranger
The
standing
idol's
beside
gone.
his
I've
dead
just noticed
horse.
the idol's
A
gone.
good
He
horse,
took it. It's
Tonto.
gone.
Yes.
Loyal,
Well,
faithful,
then
and
it's
brave.
all over.
But my next horse
Got
must
what
be
he wants.
faster. I wish that...
Offer me
Tonto,
again with
we've
it.
heard stories of
I'm
a
afraid there's more
wild
to it
horse, a
than that.
fiery white stallion.
Idol back
Him
and
seen near valley over there, where
he
Cavendish
won't
goes.
Try it again.
We'll be on the lookout for the wild horse while we
I've
follow
just noticed
Cavendish.
something too far. Something here on the floor. One of your shots clipped the pickles of the finger.
Tonto's
Bad
horse
one,
carried the
better
Lone
shot.
Ranger's saddle, his
Why?
saddlebags, and bridle, while the masked man and the
Because I'm
Indian
afraid
continued
we
on
haven't
foot
seen
along the
last
outlaw's
of this
trail.
business yet.
When they reached the top of a hill,
Look, Tonto.
they halted suddenly and stared at an awe-inspiring sight far down in the valley.
You were.
They saw a great
you were
white
right
stallion in a death
You
fight
were.
with a giant buffalo. The horse was
Next
plunging,
morning,
rearing,
the
charging, and
began.
dodging wildly,
was
and the
standing
sun
by the
flashed
river,
from his coat as from a
supervising
coat of
the
polished
packing.
silver. They realized that this was the legendary
I'm
white
glad we're
stallion,
getting out of
the
here.
one ranchers and
Something
hunters had
brewing.
talked so much about.
Things wouldn't be so quiet.
Oh,
that
what
horse.
would be brewing?
I'll try to shoot the buffalo.
Think in a copper pot,
Fire,
probably.
pistol shot.
I'll get closer
Dancing in
before
a
it's too
circle of
late.
skulls.
As he ran
Curses
downhill,
on
the
you.
Lone Ranger watched the battle.
What can he do?
The sleek
How the
white
devil should I
stallion
know?
was nimble and courageous, but his strength began to wane. The buffalo charged again and again. The splendid muscles of the white horse were slower in responding, then too slow. He was
These are
caught by the
beastly
buffalo's
poisoned
charge.
arrows. The
Wet
tree behind
crimson
you.
stained his pure white
Missed
coat.
your head
Another
by
charge.
inches.
The white horse saw it coming, and he couldn't
He's
dodge.
over there
He
with
staggered
this.
and fell. The monster
Let's
drew
do
back and
something.
lowered his
Chase him,
head for the
something. No
death
use
charge.
now.
And then
We'll find him in
2
there.
shots rang out.
The thing for us to do is to get out of here.
The buffalo
quick.
shuddered from the impact of the masked man's bullets. For an instant, he stood motionless, then fell.
Well, we got our hold. You remember how we went down the river, keeping as far from the banks as possible? You thought I was safe when you got me the saloon and said goodbye, didn't you, Waterhouse? So did I.
Cruelly
You
battered
said
and
goodbye
bruised,
and
the white
went back
stallion
to
lay
the
quietly as the Lone Ranger bathed
Nothing
his
happened for
wounds.
2 days, and I was
During the
beginning
next
to feel
several
that the
days,
whole
the
thing
masked
was
man and the
just
Indian
another
cared for the
dream.
injured horse.
And
Then the wounds were closed,
Then as I was
and the
walking
horse's
in the
strength had
compound,
returned.
I was
There was
hit
once
in the arm
more
with a
fire in
slug.
his eye, a spring in his step,
It was
and
a
his head
lance.
was lifted
Bullet
proudly.
was spent. I only got a flesh
Tonto,
wound.
he's himself
But-
again.
Ah,
I knew what
him
he
plenty
was there.
strong. Plenty good horse.
I wonder
decided
if he'll
to
take a
confide in
saddle.
Porrah,
Let's try.
a little Portuguese
Steady
woman
there,
in Hutton's
steady boy.
compound.
Me get rope. Him run
It
away.
is
No,
a
Tonto, wait.
personal
Let
question.
him go. I'd like
It's
to have that
revenge,
horse
see?
more than anything in the world.
And he must
But he
hurry because
deserves
you will
his
leave the
freedom.
country.
He
Yes,
fought
I'll
for
be
it.
on the boat to Freetown in 3 more days. Then I'll be
He's
ridden
turned to look at
for-
us.
Perhaps.
See how the sun reflects from
Then
his
there's
white coat.
this magic.
Ah,
Of course, I
him
don't
look like
believe it.
silver.
Superstition.
Silver. That would be a name for him.
But
Silver!
still, it's not nice to think that
Silver!
wherever you
Hey,
are,
Silver!
there's a black man spends their
Tonto,
moonlight nights
he's coming
sometimes
back.
dancing around
Just
the
as
fire.
if he knew what I
Send
said.
you bad dreams.
Silver!
You have any
Silver,
bad
you
dreams?
beauty.
Oh, there.
Hand me the halter, Tonto.
You've seen the beggar's head.
As the mighty stallion felt the halter, he trembled as if from a chill. Every instinct told him that he must flee at once to preserve his freedom. And yet he stood his ground.
Then they
It
say
wasn't
Porrah
gratitude
Men
that kept
send
him there.
snakes.
It was something stronger, some mysterious
seen
bond of
any
friendship
snakes
and
lately?
understanding. He heard the man's voice, and he
Killed
liked
one
it.
this morning on the floor
Silver.
in my hammock.
Silver.
Who stepped on him when
We're
I got
going to
him.
be partners.
Of course, it is good.
Him let you use halter.
Now, Tonto,
I
the saddle.
would keep
Oh,
eyes
no
open.
horse like that.
Then there is the
Saddle.
pain.
Never was
in
a
the
horse
legs
like
and arms.
this. Now,
Thought they
Silver,
were caused by
we're going to
miasma.
work together.
Probably.
The horse was wild and unused to the ways of men, and the weight of a saddle and a rider. But the masked man
ago,
was a
the
kind
night-
teacher. He was gentle yet
It's
firm,
nonsense.
and Silver was
If I
intelligent.
could just meet
The
this devil
stallion
face to
seemed to
face.
sense the desires of the Lone Ranger
You
and did his
might
best to
shoot him.
cooperate.
But
He
then
learned
he
quickly,
might shoot
and after
you.
several days of training,
I think
he
he
was
do
ready.
not want to
Follow
kill
me, Tonto.
anyone.
I'm going
not
after Cavendish.
Their
Come on, Silver!
idea is scare and worry a man with their spells and narrow mysteries.
No hoofs had ever beat the plains like those thundering hoofs of the great horse Silver. During the past few days, Cavendish had gotten far away,
Of
but the
course
masked
it's all
man and
talk.
Tonto trailed him relentlessly
You must
with
not
only a
worry.
minimum of rest. It took days to cut down the outlaw's lead, but at long
I
last,
wonder
Cavendish
if
came into view.
There he is. Come on,
Perhaps it is I
Silver!
who should be up to something.
The mighty stallion responded with a new burst of speed.
I'm not one to just sit and take...
Cavendish fired wild shots over his shoulder until his gun was empty. His horse, though powerful and fast, was no match for the charging Silver.
Sunny afternoon, I had a
Fear and
conversation.
panic filled the outlaw's face. He heard the hoofbeats ever nearer, and then the masked man shout.
I want you, Cavendish!
The masked man's avowed mission was accomplished. The last of the Cavendish gang was captured to be tried by law and punished for his crimes. But there were many others whose criminal plans were to be challenged by the Lone Ranger, his faithful Indian companion Tonto, and his great horse Silver.
Cards. When suddenly the Mendai rough strode in without so much as a knock.
Who is it? What do you want?
Oh, it's you.
Have done what you tell me. Have proof.
What is it you have in the package? Is that blood dripping?
Proof. Here.
His head. Oh, no, no.
This man you want. Now I get gone.
You didn't have to bring this. I didn't ask for such proof.
You mean, Senor Pollock, you got him killed? You did not kill him yourself?
Why should I?
But he will not be able to take it off now.
What do you mean, take it off?
Look at the cards. They are all spoiled with this blood.
What do you mean, take what off?
You must send me a new pack from Freetown. You can buy them there.
Take what off?
It is only a superstition. I forgot. The natives say if the witch, he was a witch, but it is all rubbish.
Go on.
Well, they say you must make the Porrah Man take the curse off or kill him yourself. It is very silly.
Gone. No. Yes.
I'll make it 2 guns if you'll take that beastly thing away.
No. 1 gun. No.
All right. Freya, that gun you have for sale, give it to him. I have the money right here.
Yes. Over here. Now, take it and go.
Thanks.
It is funny how the head sits upside down.
Just the way I saw him that night. Just the way I see him in my dreams.
Like it was weighted that way. You will take him with you when you go. Maybe take him now. My cards are all spoiled. There is a man sells them in Freetown. You should have killed him yourself.
Stop it! I took the thing to my hut. And no matter what I did, it always came to rest upside down and glaring at me. I got a shovel. I buried it in the soft earth behind the hut. But in the middle of the night, I was awakened by some sound in my room.
Oh, what is it? Who's there? Speak up or I'll shoot.
Oh, a dog. Only a dog. Yes, it's only a dog. But in the morning, when I awoke and started to get out of bed, there it was, in the center of the floor, glaring at me upside down. It was uncanny until I remembered the dog. I found his paw prints in the dug-up earth outside, and I knew how it got there. I took the thing down to the river. I threw it as far as I could into the current. At last I'd be rid of it. That morning, I killed 2 snakes. But Late in the afternoon, the little steamer arrived that would take me away from this insane land of the Porrah and Freetown and civilization. I had almost begun to feel gay as that boat carried me swiftly away from the shores of the Porrah land. At last I would be free, and soon I'd be back where Porrah and curses and nightmares would be forgotten. I was standing at the rail, sighing with relief, when the captain of the steamer, whom I'd met before, strolled up and began to make conversation. After the usual exchange of pleasantries, he said,
I picked up a rum curio on the beach this go. It's a thing I never saw done this side of India before.
Why is that so?
Yeah, the head of one of these Porrah chaps, all ornamented with knife cuts. I say, what's the matter, old chap? You're green in the face. I wouldn't have took you for a bad sailor.
Oh, I'm quite all right.
Well, this head I was telling you about is a bit queer in a way. I've got it in a jar of spirits in my cabin, and I'm hanged if it don't float upside down.
What?
Here I say, old chap, what's the matter? Stuart! Stuart!
That was the last straw, I suppose. Something seemed to snap in my brain. And for the rest of the voyage, I lay there in the bunk, staring at the ceiling. And I had the strange sensation that the boat was made of glass, transparent, and that I could see up through the ceiling into the captain's cabin, see the Porrah man's face floating in a jar of alcohol upside down, grinning at me. I suppose the actual head is still in the captain's cabin in Freetown, but it didn't matter. The Porrah man's work had been done by then, because now I carried it with me everywhere. In my brain. I saw it everywhere, anywhere. Any object that was round like a hat or a pillar or a vase suddenly developed features when I looked at it. Ugly, scarred features with a grinning, mocking mouth. Features turned upside down. When I docked in London, I went straight to my banker's office in Cornhill.
And the security is all in order, Mr. Pollock. You shall have to watch things, of course, but all in all, you shall have enough to live quite comfortably and to enjoy a reasonable amount of freedom. Then, too... I say, Pollock, what are you staring at so fixedly?
That thing. Hanging from your mantelpiece.
Oh, yes, I see. The potted fern. Rather pretty one, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yes, very pretty.
I must do something about it, though. It's always dripping water down on the fender of the fireplace. Makes it rusty.
I was wondering about that. It looks red, almost like blood.
Rust, you know.
Yes. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. Can you recommend a physician for mental troubles? I've got a little, what do you call it? Hallucination. The Porrah man grinned at me fiendishly, and I stared back at him. The banker watched me very curiously for a moment, and then he gave me the address of a doctor, and I left his office. That's when my accident happened. To a man who's been many months in the jungle of busy London streets, confusing enough. But when a head comes rolling down the middle of the street, and between your legs... No! I was in the hospital for weeks. The only permanent injury, however, was the loss of the tip of my little finger. By strange coincidence, the same fingertip of the left hand that I'd shot off the Porrah man that first night. Well, even in the hospital, the Porrah man was with me all the time, everywhere. The doctors couldn't help me. My friends couldn't either. So I tried cycling in the country. But that thing kept rolling along beside me and getting tangled up in the wheels and spilling me. That's how I got the broken wrist. Well, the worst came only last week. I'd just come back from a long walk, hoping to be tired enough to go to sleep. And As usual, that bronze vase was over there in front of the big French window. And it... well, perhaps the poor man enjoys the view of the street 3 floors below. But anyway, this night, I felt the little devil may care, so I turned round to it and I looked him in the eye and I said, "So, you're still here, are you, my ugly shadow?"
Yes, Pollock. I'm still here.
What did you say?
I said I'm still here. And I always will be.
No, not that too, not that, no. No. So, now you understand, Waterhouse? I not only see the Porrah Man, I hear him, too.
Pollock, old chap, this is frightful.
Oh, it is rather, isn't it?
I mean, you are ill, man, very ill. Now, surely there's something someone can do, some doctor.
What can any doctor do? Can he take off the Porrah Man's curse?
Now, Pollock, that's nonsense. And you know it.
Oh, is it?
Of course, man. It's all in your mind. All, what do they call it? Suggestion. The power of suggestion is strong. You're impressionable. You've let these stories prey on your mind, and you've got to snap out of it.
Oh, I should have killed him myself.
Pollock.
I'd do it, too, with my bare hands, if only I had the chance.
Man, you're talking rot.
Look at him there. Look at him grinning at me.
Pollock, that's only a bronze vase.
Always grinning at me. More and more fiendishly every day. Stop it, you devil. Stop it, you hear?
Pollock, calm yourself.
It.
Lie back. Rest.
Rest. Yes. That's what I need.
If I'd only known, I'd never have left you there in Sulima alone. All this might have been prevented.
Yeah, might it? Listen, Waterhouse. When you came in, I was just lying here thinking. I see him. I hear him. My sense of sight and of hearing is affected. And someday, my sense of touch will go, too. When it does, I know that will be the end. I'll be finished. And the Porrah Man will finally have his revenge. Won't he?
Pollock, old man.
When you came in, I was lying here, trying to get up the nerve to walk over there and make the test. And I'm going to do it.
No, I won't let you.
You can't stop me, Waterhouse. Don't you see? I've got to. I can't go on like this. I've got to know. Have it over with.
No, Pollock.
It's beyond anything you can do. Stand aside. But stand aside, please. Now.
Come back to bed, Pollock. That window is open. If you have a...
Never mind. This is just an ordinary bronze vase. Isn't it, Waterhouse?
Pollock, don't do it.
I know it's only a bronze vase. I know that when I will feel only cold metal when I reach out and touch it. I know. Like this. Oh, no!
Pollock, look out! That window! You're backing into that window! Pollock!
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you Pollock and the Porrah Man by H.G. Wells, adapted for radio by John Dunkel, with Barton Yarborough as Pollock, Louis Van Rooten as Waterhouse, and Bill Conrad as Berea. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Feuer. Next week...
You are groping through the darkened corridors of a gigantic department store in the dead of night. And suddenly you realize you're not alone. That 100 eyes are glaring at you from the shadows. 100 hands reaching for your throat.
Next week, Escape with John Collier's eerie story, Evening Primrose. Good night, then, until this same time next week when CBS again offers you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.